Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me for another video. Another quick one here while I'm sort of navigating some internet issues which are preventing me from doing these big projects which will be coming in the coming weeks. Just another sort of easy breezy discussion video. I was on a live stream a couple nights ago where we were sort of talking about overrated, underrated artists, and you know me, not want to spread negativity. So underrated artists, I've picked one from each decade from the 60s to the 2010s. So I've got 6 artists here I'm going to talk about. Let's get straight into it. The 60s, I have the Four Tops. I mentioned them in my 60s favorite albums video. I think they're fantastic, and I don't really think they get the respect they deserve because they sort of get dismissed as a single artist or a pop pop group and get looked down upon because of that, because the Motown sound it's not the critical darling kind of thing. But man, the Four Top second album and Reach Out, both incredible records. Front to back, just amazing, feel good music. And I can't recommend them enough. I think if you haven't listened to Reach Out, then you're missing out. That's an incredible album. For the 70s, I'm going to go with The Jam. I could have gone with Big Star here, but I feel like Big Star have more of a cult following than The Jam do. I think an album like All Mod Cons from 1978 and especially Setting Suns from 1979, incredible stuff. The sort of continuing on from the Kinks and the Who with the mod sound, whilst also having that punky power pop style that the Clash was sort of doing. I think the Jam are excellent. I think they're actually better than the Clash, in my opinion. That might be a hot take. For the 80s, you shouldn't be surprised at all here. The artist I'm picking is The Replacements. They're one of my favorite bands of all time. I've talked about them ad nauseum on this channel. I don't really need to get into it any more than that. I mean, The Replacements are awesome, and everyone should be listening to them. Let It Be, Tim, Pleased to Meet Me, 3 absolute classic records. 90s, I've gone for Ween. Now, Ween are a weird one. I think, again, much like I was talking about Big Star, and I think The Replacements to some extent, people who are into Ween are really into Ween. I think they kind of get dismissed as like a comedy band by a lot of people, which I don't think is fair. They obviously are a very unique band with a distinct style, and there's definitely some humorous moments throughout the discography. But I think they're such excellent musicians. They're such great songwriters. So many memorable songs. I think Quebec is a fantastic album. That was in the 2000s. In the 90s, they brought out Chocolate and Cheese. 12 Golden Country Greats, which is a country album, which is really great. The Mollusk, which is fantastic. Like, these are some really fantastic albums, such diverse range of songs and genres that they explore. So I would definitely recommend Ween. They have some awesome stuff. For the noughties, the 2000s, I'm going to go with Death Cab for Cutie, one of my favorite bands. I think they have a following, but I think critically they kind of just get snubbed a little bit. Like an album like We Have the Facts and We're Voting Yes, which is a top 10 album of all time for me. I love it. Transatlanticism is amazing as well. That's sort of the one that gets the most critical praise. Plans had the big hit on it. I Will Follow You Into the Dark. And Narrow Stairs as well is a fantastic album. So throughout this decade, they were just making some killer stuff, and I think they deserve a lot more respect. Ben Gibbard as a songwriter as well is fantastic. And then finally for the 2010s, I'm going to go with an artist that I was meant to see live, which has just recently been cancelled. She was meant to be supporting the Foo Fighters in June, which obviously, rest in peace to Taylor Hawkins. That show is not going to be going ahead now. Saint Vincent. She is a chameleon. I think you could argue she's the closest we've had to David Bowie in terms of being able to just change styles between albums. Her earlier stuff is more singer-songwriter, sort of chamber pop, folk elements. She's got electronic music. She does loads of like straight up pop. Her latest album is more of like a throwback soul record. I think she's utterly fantastic in every way. She's one of my favorite guitarists. She's great. She's a great songwriter. She's a great singer. Her discography is just amazing. She did a collab album with David Byrne from Talking Heads. She's attracted a lot of attention critically, but I think even then she doesn't get the respect she deserves. As to me, she is possibly the best artist of the 2010s. I mean, I'd have to think about that a bit more, but I could pretty comfortably make that claim, because Strange Mercy in 2011, the self-titled in 2014, my personal favorite, Mass Seduction in 2017, just amazing albums. So yeah, recap: 60s, the Four Tops; 70s, the Jam; 80s, the Replacements; 90s, Ween; 2000s, Death Cab for Cutie; 2010s, St. Vincent. Those are 6 underrated artists from 6 decades. Be cool to see any comments of what you artists you guys think are underrated. Yeah, I think it's an interesting exercise to see what kind of music you're into that maybe the critics or even the mainstream just sort of ignored at the time. So yeah, I'll be back with another video soon. Thanks for watching.